In 1985, two 15-year-olds named Andy Gavin and Jason Rubin met in Hebrew school and did what all 15-year-olds did, talked about video games. Unlike their peers, however, Andy and Jason decided to actually do something about it and quickly wrote their own game, Math Jam, for the Apple II. Realizing that they had some talent and also that they enjoyed money, they figured it would make sense to make their own company. And so they founded Jam and got to work on their next game, a commercial product. Ski Crazed, however, did not turn the boys into millionaires overnight. No, it took a few more years and a couple mega franchises and a veritable plethora of hit games to do that, along with a new name for the company, Naughty Dog. The young duo soon upped their game to the Apple II GS and released Dream Zone in 1988. But it was with the release of Keef the Thief in 1989 that Andy and Jason first tasted some real success. Coincidentally, it was with this game that the company renamed itself Naughty Dog. But though the company was on the rise, their platform was not. The early 90s were not gentle to Apple, and realizing that its user base was shrinking, Naughty Dog jumped ship to the new kid on the gaming block, consoles. Electronic Arts funded their next venture, the RPG Rings of Power for the Sega Genesis. Regarded as incredibly difficult, the game nevertheless managed to gain a dedicated cult following. Their next title was Way of the Warrior for the 3DO, which did not sell well, probably because the game was universally panned as a bad Mortal Kombat clone, and it was on the 3DO. Despite the relatively low sales and prestige, however, something about the game caught the attention of Universal Interactive Studios. Universal invested in Naughty Dog with enough money to allow the company to expand into a AAA developer. All they needed was a game to make. Universal sent over one of their producers, Mark Cerny. Having worked on the iconic Sonic the Hedgehog franchise, Cerny convinced the guys at Naughty Dog that they should create their own mammal in a platform game for the 3D era. The result was Crash Bandicoot for the Sony PlayStation.
What have I got?
Released in 1996, the game was a commercial smash and was soon heralded as Sony's answer to Sonic and Mario. It had a vibrant and cartoony art style with a rather zany sensibility, combined with familiar platforming mechanics translated into the third dimension. The game was a mammoth hit and quickly became a flagship title for Sony's first console. To the surprise of no one, the game rapidly evolved into a hit franchise. Crash Bandicoots 2, 3, and Team Racing were all released over the next few years, every one of which making big money for Naughty Dog. But even with all the success, Naughty Dog was ready to move on and spun the franchise off to other studios to continue. As it happened, Sony was about to make a move of their own to the cleverly titled PlayStation 2. In early 2001, Sony bought Naughty Dog outright, and they got to work on their first game of the new generation, Jak and Daxter.
Every bone in my body tells me that the answers rest on the shoulders of a young boy.
A spiritual successor to Crash Bandicoot, Jak and Daxter was the first platformer to be in a fully open 3D environment. The game was another commercial smash, which led to another hit franchise for Naughty Dog. After Jak and Daxter came Jak 2 and Jak 3, or Jak II and Jak 3, or something, and another racing game, in a perfect mirror of the Crash series' evolution. And once again, Naughty Dog spun the series off to other studios as once again, Sony announced a new console, the once again cleverly titled PlayStation 3. But just as this was happening, Jason Rubin, one of the two teens who started the company, announced that he was leaving. Not long after, his founding partner, Andy Gavin, followed suit. Without the vision of its creators, Naughty Dog decided that it was time to switch gears completely. And so, as they began work on their first PS3 title, they abandoned the comfortable confines of cartoony platformers and sailed off into completely uncharted territory. Tune in next time to see photorealism meet adventure serial.